I think next I think we can get into is you had something about AD.
Listen, man.
In
All
his
right.
prime, man.
All right, listen. All right. Just based off of, I'm looking at the way the game is going this year. I'm looking at the way AD is playing this year, and I slowly, from the time he got to LA, me personally, just knowing how he played in the Pelicans and everything like that, I'm watching this. To me, a slow decline in his play. I mean, to me, it looks like he slowly, when he first came over, he knew what he was supposed to do. He knew what he wanted to do. But as the years have gone down, and now we're looking at this year, where I think he's averaging, right now, he's averaging the lowest average he ever had in his career. So to me, I'm wondering, is LeBron having a negative effect on AD's career? Yeah, it got him a championship. So yeah, he got the ring that way. But his career number, his stats, his rebounding, his aggression, he's not even as aggressive as he used to be. That's going to me. So I'm just wondering, me personally, from an eye test, it looks like LeBron might be having a negative effect on AD's career.
My blood boiling.
Well, you know how I feel about AD.
We know we don't like
you. Yeah, I always felt that people put him on a pedestal too high of a pedestal.
That's because he was ascending.
And mainly because he got that same mentality where he's not a number one, he's a number two. And I felt that when he was with the Pelicans, he didn't have that. He really didn't have it then either because he couldn't lead them as far as he should have. And he only mainly got those points, his stats, because he was the only guy. You know what I mean? The ball went to him every time. And if you look at his stats, he maybe had 2 seasons with the Pelicans where he scored 28 points. The rest of them, he's averaging what he's averaging now, about 23 to 25. About his average.
I can tell you right now, his average went from when he first got in the league.
Look at some of them seasons, he averaged about 23
I looked
to 25.
at him. I'm telling you right now, I can run down his average because I was looking at it. He went, when he first got in the league, he was average went from 11, 16, 19, 21, 23, 25. It was always going up. Then he balanced out between 20, I think it was a 26 and 27.
No, it's
about 25 and 23.
24.
It was about 25, I'm telling you.
The year he was doing on 40
he only had 2 seasons where he had 28.
The 2 years, the year.
228.
Yeah, right. The 2 years he was doing when he started dropping on 40-point games. 2017 and 2018 he was averaging 28.
Then he had 26.
And then he got to LA.
Everything was lower than that.
LA he averaged 27. LA, the one year they won the championship.
He got 27. But then he went down 25, and then now he's like at 20.
To me, like I said, honestly, to me, with that season, that whole thing is because of the bubble. To me, that's how I feel about it.
I agree.
You know what I mean? But only because of the bubble.
You want to go because when I go, it's just going to be. Ain't nobody else going to be able to talk.
See, me personally, the way I look at it is like, to me, he looked like he's having a decline. Like if I want to start pulling different points of who people Brian played with who might have had the same decline, I'm seeing a pattern.
Kyrie didn't have a decline.
Bosh did, and so did Love.
Bosh had way to do.
You want to go? You want to go?
So I kind of agree with what you're saying with the decline aspect with LeBron. I feel like right now AD is he's leaning too hard on LeBron. I feel like he still has, like you said, has that number 2 mentality.
Okay.
And I don't feel like he's fully stepped into the role of
being the best player on the team.
Being the best player on the team.
Which is what he should be.
Which is what he should be.
Right.
And I feel like LeBron is too much. He's probably being too much of a friend, and he needs to be more of a real mentor. Like get on him. And I think it's too much of a buddy relationship to where AD's not receiving his role and how he should be playing right now.
Right, he looks lost.
I feel like he may still be a little relaxed and coasting for being in that atmosphere as well, and coming off of a championship prior that year. But I will say, I know what you're going with the other players that he's played with. I also feel like kind of that, especially with the Bosh situation.
He was number 3.
He was number 3.
Love was number 3.
He was number 3, but also I do understand too, when you come from being the guy on the team, and then you're from playing organized basketball,
right?
You gotta accept a role at some point.
Right. Somebody gotta take a step back.
Somebody do have to take a step back.
Right. And Wade's not taking.
When they're gone,
right?
You should be back to your
normal. You should be back to your normal.
And that didn't happen with Bosh necessarily.
And it didn't happen with Love neither.
It didn't happen with Love either.
Right. Now before you go,
let me just say something. Let me just say something. Like we said, Love was number 3, right? And Bosh was number 3. Exactly. You know what I mean? They had to take a step back because you had Wade and you had Kyrie. Now Kyrie's mentality is different from AD.
Totally different.
That's why when Brian was with Cleveland, Brian leaned hard on Kyrie, and Kyrie didn't have no problem taking that. But Kyrie wanted to score.
No. But
you know what I'm saying?
But what we talking about is when Kyrie left, and Brian was stuck with George Hill as his point guard. Love should have been number 2. Love wasn't even number 2 on that squad.
But you got to think about it's the same aspect. When Love was with Minnesota, he was their only option.
Right.
So when you're the only option, you're going to play a little differently. They don't have that mentality to step in and be like.
That's the point.
To me, they don't have that mentality.
That's the point I was about to agree with you.
No matter if it's Brown or anybody else, they don't have that mentality.
No, that's the point I was going to agree with you with, because I also remember reading a statement that supposedly AD made where he said, when they asked him about this year in the championship run, he said, "I got nothing to prove to nobody." That mentality,
he said
right
that.
There, yeah,
Oh,
that
bad.
mentality,
that's
right
bad.
there. That mentality right there tells me a lot about who he thinks.
Well,
he
he
is
already
and who
made
he
the
is.
top 75 list prematurely.
Which he should have made, and I disagree that he made that in the first place. He shouldn't be there.
Right.
Go ahead, fire away, because I know you boiling. I know you boiling, so fire away.
Go ahead.
Even if you're talking about the bubble's only 8 games. He had his 3rd highest point.
I said that 1 year.
Right.
I said the 1 year he came over. He
Right, he had
had
his
that 1 year.
highest MVP vote in that year too as
Right,
well.
I said the 1 year.
That next year was a wash. I mean, he played 38 out of 72 games. He was hurt all year. Lower extremity injuries. Him and Braun was banged up. 72 days between your last championship, like it's over.
It's still
For Mr. Glass, like that's a lot.
You're going, but you're still going. Like I know, but you're still going off of stats. I'm going off.
No, I'm telling you, like for him to be up on that MVP vote and be like he had to play aggressive, he had to show up.
You still talking about the bubble year? I'm not debating the bubble.
But no, you keep saying the bubble year. He did 62 games out the bubble. I'm talking about out the bubble.
I call it bubble year because that's the way it is.
Right, but you talking about the 8 games in the. I'm talking about before the bubble started. He was
I'm talking
already
about that
showing.
year. I'm not
Right,
talking
but
about the bubble.
before the bubble even started,
Right.
he was already becoming elite, being better than he was.
came there from what he was doing in the Pelicans. I said
Right.
that.
So, and that's with Bron.
Yeah,
Bron
but
was
that's
there.
for 1 year. I
Right.
said it's starting to have a negative effect.
Right, but what I'm telling you is those games that he had. So, right, look at this year. You may seem like he's been struggling all year. It's not true. So this year, we go on my games. First year of the season, 33-11. Great game. The next game, he had another game this year against the Spurs, 35-17. Game against OKC, 30-8. Game against another OKC, 29-18.
Look who he's doing it against.
30. It's basketball. I mean, like I'm
But
putting it in
look
front of
who
me. It
he's
don't
doing
matter.
it
It's
against.
32-12 against Charlotte. Good team. Spurs 34-15. Boston 31-6. Detroit 30-10-6. You telling me somebody lost their aggressiveness? It don't change per team. You either aggressive or you're not. Like it's no.
He's averaging 20. His average is the lowest average of his career. What do you mean
Right.
lost his aggressiveness?
I'm saying even if it's the lowest average of his career, what is he at? Like 21 or something?
He's at 20.
He's like
21. It's like 21, 22
He's
or something.
20.5
I thought it
for
was
21.
23 points.
Right. So we got plenty.
They said
16
the other
games.
day
Like,
it's like 21.8 or something.
Right.
Yeah, like 21
And then
points.
to me, and to me, technically, as I'm watching it, he looks lost out there. And he, like most people even say, he looks lost
All
out
right,
there.
but you have, all right, understand in basketball terms. If I add another component, because when I'm talking about his best year, there was no Russell Westbrook, right? If I add another star,
We
but
about
do-
to act
now
like
listen.
Russell Westbrook is having that effect on him?
No, you understand. Russell Westbrook takes the worst shots. Russell Westbrook's also getting the responsibilities of leading the offense, making sure somebody gets the ball. Brian don't takes it all the time. That's why they got Russ. So Russ takes responsibility of getting AD the ball, putting them in the right position, alley-oops. If that was Chris Paul instead of Russ, AD numbers look crazy.
So he called for the ball?
Who?
You could call from it's Russ. We all know about Russell
Yeah,
Westbrook.
don't get me started.
So
Right, don't
we
get me
all
started.
know about Russell Westbrook.
But you still gonna see him calling for the ball.
Who, AD?
Yeah.
I see him
That's what I'm
calling.
saying.
And if you do call for the ball, somebody gotta give it to you. Russ
But
don't
even
give
the
it to
same,
you, bro. Like,
even with the system, like even the game that just won without him, the system looked more fluid with him not being in it than it did all year.
all right, but you just said look at the opponent. It was OKC.
Huh?
It was OKC.
But the system looked fluid. I'm looking at
OKC beat
everything.
him
I'm not
twice.
just
Lost
looking at
that.
I thought
performance.
they beat him twice.
Right.
A lot of those games.
You know what I'm
they
saying?
lost, too.
But listen, look. So look, you talking about one game. I can tell you another game this year when the offense looked fluid. They haven't looked horrible every game. That's what I'm saying. So if you want to pick, so you want to tell me out of all the games, even the ones they won, they never had a fluid offense. All games it was
They
every
have
bad
looked
offense.
horrible more than they've looked good.
Right, but so you pick out one game. I could pick
No,
out another game when it was good.
no, this is the one game so far we've seen without him in the lineup with
Right,
just
just the-
Brian.
this one game.
Right, just Brian.
But
and
it's a
Russ.
low sample size. It's one.
I'm just saying, but this is the one game we saw so far. But I'm just talking about all
Right.
the whole year, this whole line. No, they have not looked good with all three of them there, or even with just him and Russ. They have not looked good.
So is your thing? You saying AD has been less aggressive? He looks lost. If you're talking about one specific year, that's not a good enough sample size for a whole point
if it continue-
about a 3-year career.
it
My,
3-year
my
team.
basis is if he stays on this path, that the trajectory he looks like he's on right now, then I'm gonna say yeah, it happened because I'm watching it slowly happen as the season progressed. I'm not watching him
Right.
change and becoming back to more aggressive. I'm watching him slowly getting less and less aggressive
Right, but
as the game went.
I named games when he had like 30 and 15.
You can drop that in sleep sometimes. That's what my point. He has the ability to do that every night. He has the ability to do that every night.
No.
Wait, so the 1 year he was dropping 45, 2018 he was dropping 40 most of the time. You don't tell me you don't got that ability every night?
Look at his average that year. He wasn't doing that much.
He has the ability.
He has the ability, but he never did it consistently.
He did it in 2018. He dropped 40 plus point games from 2018.
What was the average?
What you mean was that?
What was the average that year?
What, 26, 27?
Okay then. So he didn't do every game. He had games like he did that with the Lakers too. Let me lay you some of his Lakers games.
He didn't drop plus 40 with Lakers.
41, 9, and 3 against New Orleans. Against Portland, 2020, 37 and 16 and 6.
He got
Hold
3.
on, I'm not done. 37, 16 and 6.
I said 40 and plus. 40 and plus.
All right. Next, Memphis, 40 and 20 in 31 minutes.
He got 3.
Okay. Timberwolves, 2019, 57 and 6.
Right.
Trailblazers, 43 and 9. He does that with the Lakers too. The consistency he doesn't have, he has another person there. That's the point of having another superstar. Your numbers
he had Cousins with him.
If I add another superstar, my numbers gonna look different. How I pick and choose when I score is gonna look different. That's how it works.
I would say that is
how it works.
I would say that if Bron didn't do what Wade did for Bron. Bron literally said he deferred to AD.
Right.
Wade said he deferred to Bron.
Right.
Bron's number
second year.
Right, then the second year. Not first year. Second year. Bron's numbers went up when Wade said he deferred to Bron. AD's numbers not going up when Bron said he's deferring to AD. They're going down.
Yes, it is. When LeBron is out, with the roster they have right now,
AD should be going on.
Should they still be winning the games?
No,
with just AD?
No, certain games.
Yeah,
Certain games.
I'm saying no. Why are you saying no?
I'm saying no because it's legit a whole new team. Like, you gotta have your star general there. AD just isn't that. He never been that. So he's never.
So you agree he's a number 2?
Yeah, he's a number 2. He never been a number 1.
You don't have that number 1 personality.
No, he don't.
So should he not be considered a top 5 player?
No, he has top 5 talent, but he's not a top 5.
You got top 5 talent. Why can't you play like it?
He never. It's just not him. Like, he's getting everything thrown to him.
Because he can get everything thrown to him because they said
he was better than Giannis last year before Giannis won.
And then they try to say he should be up there. They were trying to say he was on the projector to be up there with Duncan, which I thought was egregious.
They were saying he was up there with Duncan.
I thought that was egregious.
Yeah.
But that's the
talent. Consistent.
But that's the talent that AD.
He has.
Was showing, right? Because he's saying
he's spoon-fed.
Because he said he ended high. I could have swore the 2018 year he ended high in the MVP conversation. It was number 3. I think it was number 3 in the MVP conversation. He was putting up crazy numbers.
That's why he had the
right. But you gotta win. You gotta win.
He was winning.
No, he wasn't. They
made
the playoffs twice out of it.
I know they got knocked out.
They always at the bottom half.
Right, they got knocked. They was getting knocked out.
What I felt is because he ain't take his game up.
I can't say that because them playoffs, them year they lost, they got knocked out in the first round. He dropped almost 40 every game. Every game he was dropping 40. It just didn't equate to winning because he had no help.
Yeah, that's what I feel.
I feel like he had no help. Drew wasn't doing what he was doing in Bucks that he's doing on the Pelicans.
Maybe it was Alvin Gentry.
No, they kept getting knocked out.
Elite coach.
Freaking what's the bull name? Etwan Moore, he wasn't really no help. He had Etwan Moore over there winning. He wasn't really no freaking help. Ooh. Like you said, exactly.
They had third option. I can't remember.
Etwan Moore was the third option.
No,
and Aaron Gordon. Not Gordon. Eric Gordon. Eric Gordon. He was coming off the bench. He wasn't really that much help. And then, like you said,
Drew later.
Yeah, but I'm saying DeMarcus Cousins wasn't really DeMarcus Cousins from
It ain't that. It's just he don't got the intangibles with AD to make a squad that's going to go that far. Like a center and a forward being your best players.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying Drew wasn't doing what he was doing over there in Bucks, what he was doing over there, because he stayed injured. He was mostly injured most of the time. Right, but he was injured most of the time.
His defense was there.
No, his defense, his offense wasn't there, and he was mostly injured.
Because he shut down somebody.
And then when they got Rondo,
he shut down Dame.
Right, then when they got Rondo, it wasn't really working out that way. Like I said, Etwan Moore wasn't really doing anything, and neither was Eric Gordon.
And I want to go back to a point you said. You brought up Bosh, and he brought up Love. If I add 3 people, somebody's number's gonna look bad, and you got to do it by rank.
Go ahead.
You got to do it by rank of who is the best. Like, I'm not gonna have my second best player become the third. Like,
I agree.
When Bron left, Love was breaking down with LeBron. That 2018 year, Love was hurt badly. Love averaged like 8 points in the final. He was breaking down. Draymond was abusing him. Every year after that, he was hurt. That ain't got nothing to do with Bron. If you hurt every year, it ain't got nothing to do with me.
Back to the question though. To me, Brian only has a negative effect on a person if they have that number 2 personality. if you have that number one personality,
They
Brian will defer to you.
No,
Brian prefers to defer to you.
I don't think he defer.
Brian,
No, I don't think he defer.
I'm saying Brian defers.
But I don't think he defer because I think that's why him and Kyrie clash. Is because he don't defer. Let's not forget the year that play that that Black in the playoffs called for Kyrie to make the last second shot, and Brian said no. I'm making the last second.
No, he wanted Brian to inbound the ball, which is stupid.
Right, right. And Brian said, "No, I'm making the last second."
Why would you have Brian?
I agree, but don't say he deferred because that will be deferring to do that.
Don't conflict it. They didn't have issues because over deferring. They were perfectly fine with that.
No,
Brian wanted Kyrie to be the man.
Kyrie issue with LeBron was he felt like all the credit was going to Brian.
Right.
It had nothing to do with their play on the court. But it was perfectly fine.
But going back to the other point,
Kyrie took most of the shots on his team. He beat LeBron in most shots.
I just find it coincidental. I'm gonna say coincidental that Love was having the last year he left Minnesota before he got traded. He was having one of the best years of his career. His numbers were high. Right. He was no. Then he gets to Cleveland, goes down. Bosh in Toronto.
Third person. That's
I'm just saying. Bosh, same thing. When he was in Toronto, having one of the best years of his career, he gets traded to Miami with Bron. All of a sudden, everything goes down, and And wait a minute. The only time you see Bosh go back is when Bron left.
Yeah,
and Wade was out.
He's the 2 now.
Yeah, that's the
moved up.
Yeah, that makes sense. If you the 3, that's what happened.
If it's too many.
If you 3, everything's
if you the 3, that's what
happened. If I will agree with you, if you don't have the alpha mentality, then maybe that's the case. But I just find it coincidental that all like I said, if AD continues on this downward spiral, then I'm gonna say I find it coincidental that 3 power forwards that played with Bron careers went downhill as they played with him.
I will say the only problem with that argument is when you factor AD into the situation is AD is not a third wheel guy. He's not in that same position where Love and Bosh.
That's what I'm saying. He's in second.
He's being deferred too,
right? And he's still not stepping up. He's not stepping up.
Right. They're trying to get him to be the number one guy because they know his skill set. Mm-hmm. He for whatever reason don't have the mentality to actually take on that role.
And
now with Bosh situation, I can see where the difficulty lies. Even with being a number 3, he had to get comfortable with a role. He went from being the guy to being a role player, and I'm only saying from experience, it's not an easy thing to transition to.
Oh, I agree.
When you're used to scoring and doing more on the basketball court, and then you come into a role where your coach is like, all right, I'm using these guys.
Yeah.
You do good at this. I just need you to do this.
I agree.
It changes the way you play.
I agree to a point, and I only agree to that point where we just keep harking about mentality. If I'm the Bull and I still want my numbers, I need some number of touches a game to get my buckets.
Well, what I would say to that is, I think Bosh shouldn't even be in this conversation because even Bron didn't have control over anything that offense ran. Wade and Bron had a problem with Eric Spoelstra and wanted him gone when it first started. Pat was like, no.
Yeah,
Bron had no control of how that offense ran. That was all Spoelstra, all Pat Riley. Mm-hmm. So if their way to run the offense is leave Bosh in the corner and then he pick and pop, that got nothing to do with Bron. He didn't make that offense. That's what they decided for him to be. Yeah. And then I want to say, tell me in history where a person was number 1, went to number 3, and their numbers didn't go down. Like it's going to happen. Second, the Bulls today have 3 big people, right? They have DeRozan and they have Zach LaVine. They both average 26 a game. Hold on, Vucevic averaged 14 a game. Yeah, that's what happens when you have 3 stars. That's what happens.
But you already got 3 over there. You got Ball.
They got 4.
Right.
No, Ball's not that.
He's not a scorer.
I know he's not a scorer.
He's stepping up this year.
Right, but he's stepping up this year.
The
only argument I can have, and this is more you should be able to answer more than anybody. Showtime Lakers. Before Kareem left, when it was Magic, Worthy, then Byron, and Kareem. Kareem numbers didn't take too much of a nosedive, and neither did James.
But you don't put Byron in that group with them, though.
Byron was averaging about 17, 18 points.
But you don't put him in the group with them. He's not them.
So you put Magic in that conversation.
But Byron wasn't a number 1 on another squad, and then it wasn't that.
I know, but understand.
The thing with that is Magic wasn't mainly a scorer.
That's what I'm saying. I told him that because he would be more.
Yeah, Magic wasn't mainly a scorer. He'd get his in there because he wasn't.
Because the only other scenario you can use to that argument would be Boston with Garnett, Pierce, and Ray. But the only counter argument I would have to that is even though Kevin Garnett's points number went down, Kevin Garnett was widely considered still the best player on that team. But no, the defense part.
But a lot of times, with that team was good. Their dynamic was every night it could have been somebody different.
Right, but
they had no problem.
But just going back to KG's documentary, Kevin Garnett said when he came to the Celtics, he went straight to Doc and said, "You got Paul Pierce, you got Ray Allen, you got the little we used to call him little African bull Rondo." He was like, "I want to focus." He said, "I want to focus on defense."
Right,
He said,
"I'll let it be known."
Right, he's right. I'll make my buckets, whatever the case, when I want
that
to.
Made it easy for
but I want to focus on defense because you got these offenses. But even with him focusing on defense, he was still considered the best player on the team.
Mentality, but that's his mentality.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I say you only go back to mentality with AD. That's
right. But no, I'm saying AD. One of AD's best years was with LeBron. He finished second in Defensive Player of the Year. So not only was he top 5 in MVP, he was number 2 for Defensive Player of the Year. That had to do both of those. He was elite.
I gotta see that on a consistent basis. I'm not like you keep saying one sample size of 1 year. I gotta see it on consistent.
Right, so I'm saying, but
as
right
right
now,
now,
percentage points, 18 games,
I'm seeing,
and not all 18. He was that, so you really got 12 games. You really don't got enough.
But right now, that's why I'm still like I'm keep harping on the fact I'm still watching as the year progresses. If he continues on this decline,
so
that's a different story then. Because right now he's declining.
So yeah, so that's my question. Do you not see his decline though?
It's more of a decline. I don't say it was more of a decline. I do see him being super inconsistent, but I do know that's not him. That's not what he always been with the Lakers, right? So you can have a bad year. That don't mean that's you.
But it started last year.
No, it didn't. He was hurt last year. Why do you keep bringing last year? He was hurt.
Even when he was out there, it didn't seem.
That's not. He was hurt. He was hurt. He came back from 72 days off of winning a championship. He's Mr. Glass. He never recovered.
He is
even
Mr.
said
Glass.
He said AD is quoted saying, "I came into that year injured, so you can't use last year against him if he's hampered. Like it don't matter."
And then, so
his whole career he's injured though.
That's what I'm saying.
That's why it's not an excuse for me. Right, his whole career is injured. That's what I'm saying. It's not an excuse.
He never had too many lower extremity injuries like he did last year.
I thought he messed up his knee 1 year.
No. I'm talking about a bunch of different ones where each part of your leg is getting affected.
All right, so here's part of the problem too with all that, right? It's because the dude is young.
He's only 26.
He's only 27 years old.
He'll take care of his body.
And that's.
Are we gonna blame
you know
LeBron
who
too?
got on him? Yeah, you have to at some point because you're a professional.
He's a grown man though. I can't make him do it though.
Yes, you do.
How?
Just like you make Embiid eat better. You make him take care of his body.
All right, so that's
take care of your body.
Jordan made it.
Here it comes. Let's go.
All right, that's my main issue. That's my main issue. In the big grand scope of things, you got to come to a thing where things are tangible. You can't be like, all right, because this person on my team is failing, it's the leader fault. You don't know what he did to try to get this person to do it. We all grown men at the end of the day. Whatever you don't decide to do.
I'm not blaming LeBron.
No, that's why I asked you. You said yeah.
Oh, that's
what
I'm blaming AD.
Oh, okay. I thoued you just blaming LeBron.
No. I'm blaming AD for it. I'm not blaming LeBron.
Because if Jordan got somebody that
time out. Yeah. Just off of what I'm just gonna go off of what I was taught as a leader.
Yeah.
As a leader, you take responsibility for it. I don't give a damn what.
Right, but if they don't do it, that's up to that person.
You take responsibility for it.
Right, but that's in logical sense. You can't make somebody do it.
Oh no, you can't make somebody, but you take responsibility as a leader.
You can take responsibility.
I'm saying if you want to be considered the leader, then that falls on your shoulders.
It can fall on your shoulders, but we all know if he don't decide to do it, that's on him.
Like no way.
I'm not gonna blame the other guy for it.
He remind me of. I'm not saying every game. He reminds me of like Chris Webber and some other players where
there you go, Webber.
They get their stats. They get their stats. They get their stats, but it don't affect the game. You know what I mean? It's not making an impact on the game. You be like, he got 20. You be like, how did he get 20?
We got to have a conversation about
you know what I'm saying?
Right, just get so I get it. I get what you're saying because it does need a bigger sample size, right?
I agree. It needs a bigger sample size. I'm just watching what's happening.
If you give me 66 of that for 66 from the first year, and I could be like, all right, I see it now. You know what I'm saying? I just need more. Because that first year ended in the championship, right? If it didn't, then it's like,
right. Okay.
Now, you understand the bubble had, superpowers.
Don't give me this.
If the bubble was 60 games, I'm fully with you. The fact that it was like 62 regular season drinks in front of fans and, you know what I'm saying, he still performed.
I just want to say let this year continue to play out. If it continues like this, then I'm going to say, all right, I'm starting to
all right, so
questions need to be.
Yeah, if you had to divide the pie, if 4 AD struggles, right? Would you say how would y'all divide it between Vogel, Westbrook, LeBron. How would y'all divide the pie of why he's struggling? Or
Does he get a piece of that pie?
in him? Like how?
I'm going 40% him, 25% Bron, 15% Vogel.
Do 20.
Huh?
Because the number's gonna be like
Yeah,
60.
yeah, all right, 20. All right, nah. Then let me take it
Yeah,
back.
add it up right
Yeah,
there.
let me take it back. I'm still gonna go 40. I'm still going 40 AD.
Yeah.
So I'm going 40 AD. I'm going 50. I'm gonna go 20, like you said, 20 Bron,
Okay, 60.
60. I'm gonna do 15 for Vogel,
I got 74.
and then the rest I'm gonna fall on Russ.
Okay.
I'm gonna do 40 on AD.
Okay.
I'm gonna do 40 on Vogel
Okay. Ooh.
and 20 on Bron.
Nothing on Russ.
No.
Wow.
I'm
Blame
going.
Vogel.
You got a fan, Russ.
I'm going 60 AD.
Yeah.
Huh?
I'm going 60 AD.
Uh-huh.
Maybe
This way.
60 AD. Maybe about 20 on Vogel.
Okay. So it's 80.
That's about 80 right
Yeah.
there. And you know what? Matter of fact, I'm just gonna split it 50-50
Between who?
50 on
between Vogel and AD.
Really? So
Close.
no Bron don't got no effect on
Russ is playing like he always played.
Rick,
Russ is trash.
Russ is playing like he always
say
played.
that, man.
So I didn't expect anything
No.
different.
Don't say that.
And Brian,
Well, his last 60 games have been pretty good.
And Brian-
Last game played good.
yeah, and Brian is up in age. They expected AD to come and be number one.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
I
So
So how you?
But
yeah, I'm going half on AD
See,
as
how-
a coach.
We just landed on another debate that I don't agree with. Why are we bringing Vogel?
Why not?
That's another.
Some of their he
You
was
wanna
known
say-
as
you
a
wanna put-
defensive guy. Their defense is lacking.
When
Even
I got the-
if you ain't got
when I got-
might as well just cut it because
yeah.
when I got
Peace.
When I got the best player telling me
If I had to divide this up, you asking me.
Ooh, I'm scratching my knees right now.
We
Just
talking
in this one.
about, we
Then you go to
we
the
talking about LeBron, AD, Vogel, and
yeah.
Russ. How I'm gonna divide it. 100% AD. Get in the gym. Get yourself better. Ain't nobody fault but himself. Get yourself better. Stop. They babying this dude, man.
Yes,
Like,
they are. Yes, they are.
he went from dunking to Giannis to top 75 all time
to premature, like
premature,
too much.
like
too much, man.
the best power forward all time conversations.
Yeah, like stop it.
At this point, you probably feel like he ain't got nothing to prove. He even said,
He said it.
actually,
That's the worst thing to say.
Yeah.
You haven't really done nothing.
yeah, he said something about
Westbrook said that too, be honest.
Who?
Russell.
Westbrook.
Yeah.
Well,
you know,
Yeah,
one thing
I
I would say to get to your point, right? I do think LeBron has a negative impact on his teams only because of him and his skill set and how great he is. Kevin Love said on the interview that 2018 Cavs, they didn't care about the regular season. They just cared about the playoffs.
Yeah.
They said, I'm just gonna
I
coach.
remember those.
We don't care. Like we don't care. Like we don't care. We're just gonna coach. There's been teams that LeBron has that does not care about the process.
Long as they
Because
get
they
in.
have LeBron on
They
their
coast.
team,
They coast
they coast through, and because he coasts through, but he do it for different reasons, like wherever they embody that, and they decide to coast as well,
And then they think with the
knowing
playoff,
that
they're
you're
turning
35, I'm 35, you're 25. This is not for you. This is for me to coast. They embody that, and they coast through.
This
Yeah.
turned into another debate.
Yeah, you're like,
Right, we got two debates that you don't trigger right now.
like, so if you do want to say negative impact, I do think the ability to coast is his fault.
Yeah.
But he has to, because he old. But
2018 wasn't old.
I think he
it's
makes
pretty.
his teammates.
The mileage on his body. The mileage on his body. He can't do 100.
Right, the mileage. All right, I'll go with the mileage.
And then imagine what he had to do to beat Boston. He had to play 48 minutes all in the playoffs. Like that's
All right,
it's
so
crazy.
So, is he a negative impact? Yes or no?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I'm still going with negative impact. I'm not changing.
So Brian is.
On AD though, you talking about AD or
I
everybody?
think so.
Well, I'm.
You think so too?
Yeah, well,
For other
if-
reasons, though.
no.
but I think
If you
so.
carry,
You think so, too?
if you carry,
No, I mean I think AD struggles are on AD, but I do see a point where a part of LeBron's game or can be a negative impact depending on who you are.
I'm just.
Yeah, I
Going,
just think it just depends on your mentality.
Okay, got you.
okay.
You
That's
know,
part of-
If you got a weak
part of
mentality,
why
you
I
can't play
think
with it.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna keep it rolling. I'm just curious to see what topic were you gonna go into for the coaching thing.
Oh,
and to see if it's separate from-
LeBron and MJ, because it's like MJ.
no.
If you
Oh,
LeBron's
yeah,
still
yeah,
not-
yeah.
We're not doing no problem.
LeBron and MJ, yeah, that's going boy.